no money down, you talk about zero money out of pocket. Those deals exist to a certain level, but it's gonna be somebody else's money. If you're talking about no money out of your pocket, it's gonna be somebody else's money. Now, it could be your money, or it could be somebody else's money that they're investing in the deal, or it could be the seller's money, because the seller could be putting up the property into home finance. But it's definitely gonna be somebody else's money.
Can you also share maybe 1 or 2 ways that you find these mom and pop properties?
Sure. So I'll give you an example, right? We are starting to do some marketing, and there's actually ways that you can get lists that will actually give you names and phone numbers, not just the LLCs, and you can dictate what you want. I want 10 units to 50 units in this stage, or these 10 zip codes, or whatever it is. And then it's just like single family, put a marketing campaign together, and it's going to take you 5 or 6 touches before somebody reaches back out to you until the timing's right. If you think you're going to send out 100 letters and 5 people are going to call you, I've got news for you, it doesn't work that way, right? It's like anything else, it's going to take you a little while. We did find a deal from 2 other people that referred somebody to us that was a small building, it was in Jamestown, Maryland, it was 19 units, and I think they wanted like $1.1 million. So we ended up doing what was too small for us, but we decided to work with one of our students.
Now think about that. $1.1 million is too small.
So we actually arranged, usually when you look at numbers like that, right, let's say on $1 million deal, you're going to have to come up with about a third, right, for closing, down payment, rehab, and everything else that goes along with that. So kind of keep that in mind. So a third of a $1.2 million deal is about $400,000. So to your point, that you can negotiate stuff, we ended up wholesaling, the wholesale apartment buildings as well. We buy from wholesalers as well. We wholesaled this deal to one of our students with the idea being that we would walk into the entire process. I went out with due diligence, I sat down with a bank, I did all that stuff. And it turns out we didn't need a bank because the owner decided he would carry the financing for 5 years with $100,000 down, right? So 10% down. This is the crazy part, right? He said, I would like to invest in your deal. I like what you guys do. Can I give you $100,000 to give me? So you don't find those all the time.
Wait a second.
You don't ask.
Can we dissect that really quick? So, about what you just said.
Right.
He's giving you $100,000
Right.
to put down on a deal for a property that he owns. Is that right?
Exactly right.
Okay.
Now he gave it to you, was it in the form of a loan with interest or?
Low interest.
Right, so
Okay.
he's making some money off of.
Right.
So he knew we were going to make good money on his property, so he knew that he could ask for 6, 7, 8% from $100,000, so he gets his 8%, but we basically get him for $50,000 on, actually it was 20 units, I'm sorry, 20 units in Hagerstown. And the return after 3 years, I think it was like 38%. So it's pretty amazing what you can do. You just have to have a little bit of knowledge and partner with people that have some knowledge.
Yeah, this question is for our wholesalers. Because I don't know if anyone picked up on it or not, but you did say that you can wholesale commercial units.
Yep.
So, what is average? I know we hate this question, right? But give me an idea of what an assignment fee would look like on a wholesale deal for a commercial unit,
Right.
and how much time does it normally take to put a deal like that together?
So for a wholesale deal, you have to be able to look at the numbers. You have to have a little bit of knowledge to know if it's a good deal or not. You don't have to do the contract, you don't have to do due diligence, but you have to be able to come to me and go, look, I kind of know what the rents in the area are. I know what he's asking, and I understand some of the numbers because I learned them from you, or whatever it may be, right? And then on $1 million property, anywhere between 30 and 50 grand. So you're not going to get rich on it, but you're wholesaling, right? On a $2 million deal, 60 to 100, and it keeps going up, right? On a $10 million deal, you may make $500,000.
So who wants the wholesale conversion? Exactly. So my next question is, if a person says, I want to do this here, how do you determine a good market for commercial investment?
So you can do it one of two ways, right? You can either identify markets that you find that has certain parameters, and I'll go over those in a minute, and then hunt or farm in that market. Or you can have a large expanse, like a three-state area, and then have people send you deals, and then as you look at the deals, then kind of dig into the market to find out if it's a good market or not, right? So you hear a lot about emerging markets in the business, right? So these are markets where employment is going up tremendously, a lot of new people are moving in, businesses are growing, a lot of money is being poured into the infrastructure. Those are emerging markets and you do very well. Unfortunately, emerging markets are known to a lot of people, so it's a lot of competition, so it's harder to get good deals. So we've had a lot of success with smaller markets that are stable. They're not going down, right? So their population is growing. It's not going down. And their employment is going up a little bit because there's less competition there. Everyone wants the easy money, the big money, right? You can do really well because it's a long-term business. This is not just about making cash. This is about creating actual wealth. And to do that, sometimes you have to go a little bit slower and not look for the big splashes, but get maybe a slightly smaller, less expensive deal, and then get another one, get another one, get another one. But there's basic things you look for. So it's, you want to see some sort of population increase, you want to see some sort of employment increase. Every community has something called an Economic Development Council, which is kind of like a chamber of commerce. But really more for serious business people, and you can call them and say, hey, what's going on? You know, where should I buy something? And their job is to provide you with as much information so you can make an informed decision. And they will tell you, the southeast is going on, there's a new highway there, here's where the access is going to be, and well, Amazon's coming in, but maybe Amazon's not a good example, I have to pull that in and somebody's moving in, or whatever it is. So you can get all sorts of information, the information out there. It could be as easy as saying, you know something, I want to look at York, Pennsylvania. And you just Google York, Pennsylvania business development. And stuff will start popping up, and it's just kind of falling down the wall. You know, you start calling people, emailing people, and you'll be amazed at how much information is out there that's free.
Okay, but my question, here's something I know everybody's wondering. In this business, you're told, hey, the best place to invest is the ones that is closest to you.
Right.
You guys are in 11 states around.
Right.
How does one decide, I want to go 500 miles from here, I'm going to go 1,000 miles from here? How do you get over that fear of not being able to walk out your door or drive down the street to look at your properties?
So, I was talking to a gentleman earlier that had a smaller property that he was self-managing. He hated this, right? So I think if I managed my own properties, I would be able to, right? We don't manage any of our properties, not the 8 unit, not the 300 unit, nothing in between. We find a property management company, and we interview property management companies. We've got a 45-question list that we go through. It takes about an hour and a half, and we interview the property management company and get comfortable with them. And then you use that property management company when you start finding deals. You call them and go, hey, I'm looking at this deal. Give me an idea what the rents are. Go by and visit it. Give you a report. And if they want your business, they will actually go and do that for you. But we don't manage the property. So we'll go out and visit our properties every 1 to 2 years. We'll spend an hour a month.
Every 1 or 2 years?
Every 1 or 2 years, we'll go out and visit our properties. So,
And you spend once a month looking at the numbers.
right. So now when you start, let's qualify that. When you start, you may be talking to the property management company for 2 hours every week, right? And you may do that for 6 months and have flown out there every 2 months for the first 6 months. Then the next 6 months, maybe you'll fly out there once. And then after that, if you do it right, if you do it right, then you should be able to fly out there once a month and talk to the property management company. Fly out there once a year or a little bit more and talk to the property management company once a month, and everything should be flowing the way it's supposed to be flowing. But in the beginning, you're gonna have to let them know you're serious, and we have bought properties from people out in New York, out of California, out of different states that said, yeah, I bought this 5 years ago, I've never been there. And it's like, well, that's why I'm buying your property. Because you've never taken the time to sit down with your property management company and go over the numbers once a month, right? You're just kind of an absent landlord. You have no interest. You know, for an hour a month, I'll do whatever it takes to get an hour a month worth of work.
Well,
Which
first, real quick, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Flying out once a year sounds like a lot of hard work, but okay, we'll get to that later. But as far as a property management company, is there a difference in what you're looking for when you have multi-single family properties and you're looking for a property management company versus if you have multi-units in different states and you're looking for a property management company? And if they are, can you explain those differences?
Sure, that's a great question. So it's very different, all right? So the difference between single family and multifamily, two completely separate animals, right? So what you find in a lot of the smaller towns are people that are doing onesie-twosies. I property manage 10 units or whatever it is. You have a 10 unit, so yeah, I can do that. Totally different animal, right? So you want somebody that actually does commercial property management. And what was the second part of your question?
And what is the difference of what you're looking for?
So I'll give you a rule that I shared earlier. So I don't care how good the deal is. If we can't find a good property management company, we won't buy the deal. It can be smoking hot, everything we look for in a deal. But if you don't have a good property management company, you get this great deal and just drive it into the ground, right? So things you look for, even within the commercial space, there are different levels of apartments, right? So there's A, B, C, D, which is basically a war zone, right? So we don't buy war zone and we don't buy A, right? The real money to be made is really kind of the C, which is kind of working class individuals that are maybe might buy a house or maybe are renting due to necessity, not because they want to rent, but because they can't afford a house, right? So basic working class individuals, that's where we make our money because those people are the ones that are the serious renters. You get into A and people are like, yeah, I'll stay 6 months, then I'll go somewhere else or whatever it is. So you have to find a property management company that deals specifically in C's. If you find a property management that deals in A's, and they've got a swimming pool and a gym and a sauna and all that stuff, that person cannot deal with a kind of need that people in the C building need. It's totally two different areas. A C can't do an A and an A can't do a C.
Well, also with the A, B's, and C, well, when you're looking at the A's,
right.
I would assume that also when the market turns in regards to affordability, and
right.
if people are making money, people start losing their jobs at an A, which is more of a luxury
right.
unit.
Right.
The C is the more, I would assume the C is more stable, correct?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
this is where the affordability is there.
Well, that's an incredible call out. Most people don't get that for a long time, so kudos to you. So what ends up happening if you're in that C or C plus, B minus area, as the economy grows and people start growing and you're in that C plus kind of area, people will start moving into your building. If the economy goes down, people from B and A need to go somewhere, so they'll move down into your building.
Right.
So economy's good, you're full. Economy's bad, you're full.
Right.
So that's kind of the sweet spot for us. And other people like the A's, and that's fine. Everyone's got a different niche. That's not our niche.
Not to mention, in that C class, you have more opportunity for growth.
Yes.
Because of the opportunity that's there in the C class, you're able to find deals at a lower price and build it to a higher and best use,
Right.
at a higher profit.
Well, what you also find is that a lot of these investors have bought property and have not been, you get 3 attorneys out in New York and they buy a 75-unit building and they never do anything with it. They never call, they don't do any of that stuff, and they figure, well, it's just a cash machine. And then we come in and everything's falling apart because they haven't taken good care of it, and people aren't paying their rent because they haven't taken good care of it. We come in, we make it a home, right? Clean, safe, affordable housing, that's kind of our motto. And we make it someplace that people are proud to bring their friends to. And then all of a sudden, they're willing to pay an extra $50 a month because they feel good about coming home. It's safe, it's clean, we're giving them a good product, so we can raise the rents a little bit. And then people aren't not paying their rent because we haven't fixed their water heater in 2 months, right? They're like, these guys are good, they're taking care of what we're doing.
Guys, think in terms when we say highest and best use. You have a property that may not be performing at its highest level. He's looking at these deals and say, okay, this is the reason why this property isn't at a high number when it comes to the rent. Here's what we can do. We can go in to boost in an extra $50, $75, $100 unit. Multiply that times 300 units. Now you're talking about real cash flow. And that's what he's looking at. He's looking at deals that may be underperforming because of bad management. It could be because of the use of the property. It could be because of there's not enough creativity when it comes to pulling out revenue from that deal. He's able to look at those numbers and say, this is how we can change that $1,000 a month rent to $1,200 a month rent just by adding a little bit of expenses here and controlling the deal.
Absolutely. The other side of that too is that a lot of times these underperforming, you think their expenses will be really low because they're not fixing anything. What happens is that the expenses that should be controlled, even though you're not spending any money on the building, get out of control. And you're seeing people doing 60, 70% worth of revenue and expenses. So we can raise the rent a little bit, decrease the expenses quite a bit, and it's a beautiful thing.
Now let's talk a little bit about the time. You got 5,500 units.
Mm-hmm.
How much time are you guys spending a month dealing with those units?
So let's take the 750 we're buying now. Okay, that's a 5-year plan, right? We'll spend the first year spending quite a bit of time with all those units. And then after that it'll be less and less and less. But all the units that are stable across the board, unless something pops up or whatever it is, and something always will pop up, we spend per property about an hour a month. So they'll send us the paperwork. We'll look at all of what they call a T12, which is the last 12 months, and a rent roll, and any kind of paragraph they've written up on, hey, we had a fire here, we had a fight, or everything's going great, or whatever it may be. And we'll look over all that, and then we'll have a scheduled call. And it may be 15 minutes for stuff that's been going really well for the last 4 or 5 years, or it could be 45 minutes, right? Or it could be an hour. But you block out an hour, and if it takes 15 minutes, great. But that's the whole idea. It's supposed to be passive income. Do a lot of work once. I told a friend of mine one time that I was ambitiously lazy, right? I want to do all the work once and let cash keep coming in. And even though we're going to be double over the next 10 years, we've got some pretty aggressive goals. Yeah. We could walk away now and have done the work, hard work, once and just walk away and it's just maintenance.
So you don't do any kind of work in the properties? No picking up a hammer, none of that stuff?
No, none of that stuff. I'm not very good at that.
Yeah. Let me tell you guys, I can't count how many rehabs I've done. And if you ask me to pick up a hammer, as a matter of fact, I was working on this project I call myself doing, making a bandit, the sign guns you use for bandit signs? I said, I'm not going to outsource this out. I'm going to actually make it myself. So I took it yesterday, and next thing you know, my hand started bleeding. Because man, I had knocked almost a whole fingernail off. My wife had to come to the rescue. So you don't have to do the work in your properties. You don't have to do the work in your buildings. Like I said, if I'm picking up a hammer, somebody's going to the hospital, it's probably me. So
real quick, let's be clear. He did outsource some of the work, because somehow I'm sawing the PVC piping.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got that job.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But let's go back to the revenue really quickly.
Right.
I know there's different ways that you can generate that revenue outside of the rent.
Right.
When you have just regular, when you have a multi-unit.
Right.
Can you go over some of those different revenue income streams in order to build more revenue for the
Sure. So I will tell you that rent is the biggest revenue stream, right? So the actual rent for the unit. So what we'll look for is, it's like comparing, it's kind of like doing single family to a degree. It's very different than some other degrees. But, if someone's getting $800 a month over here and they have, nicer cabinets or maybe vinyl plank flooring or whatever it is, and I'm getting $600 over here and I've still got carpeting and maybe some different fixtures, I'm comparing apples to apples. I know that if I make this place look like this place, market rent is $800, so I can raise my rent $200, right? And I'm not going to do that all at once because people will leave, right? So I might do $50 one year, and people know. It's like, okay, you want to go somewhere else, that's fine. They turn around, they're like, oh wow, I've been getting a good deal for the last 10 years. Now I just got to pay market rent, right? So that's the main way. Other things we do is we allow pets, small pets. You can't, there are insurance companies, we're not allowed to have some larger pets. So we allow pets, and there's a deposit, which is put down with a pet, or in some places it's just a fee, $300 a year to have your pet, and then we charge by the pet, $10, $20, $30 a month, whatever it may be. Some places the water is included in the rent, and we'll go in there and do something called RUBS, which is utility bill back system basically. And you can hire a company, they'll come in, they'll analyze the water, and then you bill the water back to those individuals. You can do the same thing with gas. If you have gas, you can do it with electric, you can do it with all sorts of different things. And there's other little tweaks you can do. You know, some places will ask for a $100 move-in fee, right? Which is not a lot. Most people expect that, whatever it is, but you add that up across 200 units, and you do that once a year, and it's a nice little chunk of change, right? One of the things you'll notice about multifamily is you really got to watch the nickels, right? Because it's not a nickel for one unit, it's a nickel for 200 units. And if you watch those nickels, everything else takes care of itself. You don't need to have some huge thing going on. You can just say, I'll save $5 here, and I'll save $7 there, and I'll make $30 here, and then you extrapolate it, and you're doing really, really well.
Any questions? Anybody?
Any other questions?
Let's talk a little bit about the tools you use to manage that business. You
Okay.
guys got 5,500 units.
Right.
What tools are you guys incorporating in your business?
So it's funny, I was talking to a guy today, a mortgage broker, and it's just my partner and I, right? We don't have any employees, we don't have any of that stuff. You know, we have contractors, so we have an accountant, and we have an attorney, and stuff like that, but we don't have any employees, and the guy's like, that's unbelievable, how do you do that? And the way that we do that is we do have some specific tools that we actually use. Most of it's just common sense, and it's staying on top of it, right? It's like anything else. You let something, you know, you don't mow your lawn for a week, then another week, then another week, then another week, and it's gonna take you 4 hours to mow your lawn, whereas you could have done it for 20 minutes every week and have it done in an hour and 20 minutes altogether.
Right.
So we do that. We have really good accounting software that we use. One of your best friends is going to be your accountant, because there are an amazing amount of things you can do with depreciation, which will save you an enormous amount of money, or you have investors that will save them an enormous amount of money. And then we have actual rental software. So there's big ones out there like, I can't remember what the names are right now. Buildium is one, and Rent Manager is another one. And there are several ones out there, and you kind of have to pick and choose based on how many units you have. But they are lifesavers. And we have gone and bought apartments, bigger apartments, 80, 100, 120 units, where they're still literally doing it out of a ledger book. You ask for a rent roll, and it's on loose leaf paper, right, kind of thing. So if you're doing that, it might take you a little while to get to a lot of units. But software is your friend, you know, absolutely. And then when the property manager, they sometimes will select what software they want to use as a company, and that's fine, but then they need to teach us how to do it, and then we have to have access to it 24/7 so we can look into it at the same time. We also require that they have our accounts. Some property management companies will say, we have one account and all the money goes into it. And we're like, no, we want our own accounts, right? So that's something we differentiate. So not a lot of fancy tools. I wish I could tell you there was a lot of magical stuff, but a lot of it is just common sense.
I know one of our mentors always talk about the key to your success, whether it's multifamily with 300 units or multifamily with 10 units, is having an expertise in managing your managers.
Yes, exactly right.
And that's the key.
Yep,
We have a
100%.
question.
How do you guys collect the rent again from the units? You use a special software for it, or?
So you have several ways to collect the rent. It depends. So we have a bunch of mobile home parks down in Middle Georgia, and when we started there, they were actually taking cash right at the rental office. So we stopped that right away. There's just too much liability there, right? And it's too easy for, and 99% of property managers are honest, but you get that 1% and cash disappears.
Are you
right?
generous? 99%.
Yeah, so-
That's generous.
This is on YouTube, so I want to be good. And then, so we started taking money orders and checks, and that got to be a little bit of a hassle. So there's a couple different things you can do. In a C-type property, a lot of people now have some sort of debit card. You can actually go to the bank and ask for specific debit cards for your tenants, and all they do is they go online, do what they need to do, punch in their number, and it's all seamless. It's all electronic. We don't collect money orders or cash or checks from anybody anymore. It's all online, which is a huge savings.
Any other questions? Let's go a little bit into the business itself. Because you talk about that you guys are doing apartment buildings, mobile home parks, and storage facilities.
Right.
What nuances are there in getting storage facilities
Right.
that you don't find with apartment buildings?
So storage facilities, and we don't have a lot of them, right? If you had to break down our portfolio, we're probably 80 to 85% multi-unit, 10 to 15%, if you do the math, right? Mobile home parks, and about 5% self-storage.
Okay.
So self-storage is a commodity, right? It's actually a business where you have to market a lot. You have to do a lot of analysis because self-storage units are very inexpensive to build. So if you have one here, you have to make sure that the barrier to entry for somebody else to build one real close to you is not high, right? Or the barrier to entry is high. That someone can't just say, oh, well, there's 2 acres right there. I'll just pop one up and I'll undercut you by $5 and, you know, we'll get all the business. So there's a lot more analysis in terms of traffic count, residences in the area, how many other self-storage units are in the area that needs to be taken into account. And then it's a little harder to find property management companies that will manage a self-storage facility, just because there's less self-storage facilities. So you may find yourself managing a manager that you pay directly in a self-storage facility. So we have some of them. Cap rates are really low on them right now. So they're somewhat simple to run because it's just, you know,
Right.
a box. But the real money is in multifamily mobile home parks.
Talk about the mobile home parks.
So mobile home parks are interesting. So there are all we have is mobile home communities, right? We don't have trailer parks, right? The stuff that you see on cops and stuff like that, we don't have those, right? I mean, they're out there and you can buy them and turn them around. It's a lot of work. But, you know, again, clean, safe, affordable housing. The challenge with mobile homes, I'd say 80% of the stuff that you do in multi-unit, you can apply to mobile home parks. The difference is that you've got, as opposed to 5 buildings with 20 units in each building, is you have 100 units and they're all separate, and they may all be separate models, and they may all be separate years, so there's no consistency there, right? It's also a different avenue because most of the time these people own their homes, you're just renting them the land, right? So they can be a little bit easier to work with loans where they actually own the homes, but if you own the park and you own the homes, your maintenance expenses can be quite high because some of the older mobile homes are not built very well. The 1978 HUD took over and now they have to be built to the same specifications as a stick-built home. So this is an interesting tip for you. So we helped, I think I mentioned this, a couple buy a big mobile home park up in Maine. And you know, there it's police officers, teachers, nurses, they own their own mobile home. Maine has more mobile homes per capita than any other state in the country. And I'm like, are you kidding me? As cold as it is up there? But now they're being built much, much better. And they're insulated just like regular houses. And some of them actually have 2x6s for the wall studs versus 2x4s. But it is a different animal, right? You're dealing with people that own their own home. They're all separate. One of the mobile home parks that we have somebody else managing actually has 6 employees on site that all report to the property management company. That same size of mobile home park, we can get away with 2 employees in a multi-unit. So some variances, a lot of it's the same. Underwriting can be a little the same, but some differences as well.
So from what I'm hearing from you is that you have either you own the whole park, where the individuals own the trailers,
Mobile homes.
Mobile homes.
It took me a while too.
Okay. they own the mobile homes,
Right.
or you own both.
Correct, exactly right.
Gotcha.
And of course, with the ones where they own the trailer.
Mobile home.
Oh, the home, sorry, only trailer. Well, when they own the mobile homes themselves.
Right.
That's where you charge maybe ground rent to rent the ground.
Exactly. So we're only, so expenses on a park where the tenants actually own their own homes, the residents. We're responsible for the infrastructure, so like main pipes, electricity, the lights in the park, the streets, the leasing office, stuff like that. We're responsible for that. But once you get inside their unit or even outside their unit, they're responsible for everything. We don't touch anything.
Oh, no question.
So for numbers wise, how much are you charging for ground rent per tenant?
So it depends on where you are in the country, right? It's like anything else, right? So in southern Georgia or middle Georgia, you know, you might charge $250, $300 a month, right? You go up into Minnesota, or, well, I'll give you a perfect example. So we're in Baltimore, Maryland right now. A friend of mine bought a mobile home park, same guy owned it, over in Glen Burnie, right?
So they actually have mobile homes.
They have mobile home parks. They've got like 3 of them on Route
I know.
1 in Elkridge that I want to buy, but they're not selling. So, but you know, he'll charge $650 for ground rent, right? And on top of that, I think he's got like 182 or something like that. So he doesn't take care of the, but you know, he had to pay a little bit extra to get that deal, right? And at the time when he bought it, they were charging $300 a month for ground rent. And he's been bumping it up $50 every year. Now, it took him 5 years to buy that park. So it's not a quick thing. You know, he could have bought it in the first year, just it depends on when the guy was ready to sell. But somebody offered it to him saying you ought to talk to this guy, and they went back and forth. And after 5 years, he just kept talking to the guy once every 6 months. And one time he called, he said, you know something, I'm ready. So it's just, you got to keep planting those seeds, man. It's all about giving value and planting seeds in everything you do.
And that's we have another question.
It's a two-part question.
Okay.
I heard you say that it was a C grade property.
Right.
Who grades? Where did you get your grading system from? To say what's a C grade, B grade?
Sure. So you hold on to the second part because I'll forget the first part. So there is kind of a norm in the industry, kind of accepted. So usually stuff that is 10 years or newer is going to be A-type property, right? So stuff that has just been built in the last 5 years, a lot of amenities, very expensive. B-type properties are what used to be A-type properties, but it's 20 years later. C-type properties are now probably like between 1985 and 1965. And some of them can be older. You find some buildings in Baltimore that are built in the 1900s and are still C or can be A, right? It just depends on the neighborhood.
That's the key. The neighborhood, the
The
location.
neighborhood is key. The market is critical. But most people will let you know, most brokers will let you know, this is an A-type property, this is a B-type property. What's interesting is you'll never hear a broker call something a D-type property. Everything's a C, right? Because he knows if he tells you D, you're going to run the other way. You can make a lot of money with D, it's just not what we do.
Yeah, they usually mean dead bodies. So just
Yeah,
forget about
exactly.
that. No. One other thing too, with the different classifications, it can also be a barometer of what the cap rate could be.
Yes, exactly right.
So the higher the A could be a lower cap rate, or it could be a negative cap rate, depending on like New York
Exactly,
or
yeah,
a high
exactly.
metropolitan area.
Exactly.
And then my second question was on what is the cost of doing business for a mobile home? Like you said, it could be $200, $250, $650,
Right.
like all those different things. Like what is the return on investment for your ground rent, I guess?
So, kind of it depends, right? Kind of a difficult question.
I guess
So-
I want to say what's considered a good deal for you for mobile home parks, number wise.
So on a mobile home park, by year 3, I need to be making at least 25% of my money. Right?
That's 3 years.
3 years, yeah. It might be nothing the first year. I have to turn it around, right? But on the mobile home park, and remember, we may look at 200 deals to find one we want because we're really looking for good deals. I mean, there's deals out there, and I've talked to people after they've bought deals, and I've had to be very honest with them. I'm like, I talked to one young lady that I met, and she had just bought something in Charles Village, right? And she said, I've got the paperwork, can I show it to you? And I'm like, yeah, sure, come to my Starbucks, right? Of where I live. I don't own it, but it's a Starbucks near where I live. And I said, just meet me up there. I'll sit down with anybody, right? I mean, Nicole's been very good with me, and I try and give back as much as I can. And I tell everybody, call me, just don't call me every day, right? So I met her up
Unless
there.
they're one of your students.
Unless they're one of my students, then you can call me every day. And I sat down with her, and after like 10 minutes, I'm thinking, oh my God, this is a horrible deal. And she was really nice, and I was like, what do you want me to tell you? She's like, just be straight up with me. And this is not a dumb woman. She's done a bunch of flips. She's done 15, 20 flips or something like that. So she understands the business. She's got a very good job working downtown. Just didn't understand multifamily. And I was like, you know what you need to do? You need to turn the tenant base, turn around, go to it was a residential realtor that sold it to her. Mistake number 1, right? You want a commercial broker to find it for you. and I shouldn't say that, some residential agents that know commercial, but it's few and far between. Like you would know commercial, right? But somebody down the street, I wouldn't trust. I would trust you, but maybe not somebody else, right? So I told her to resell it and sell it to somebody that's an attorney out in New York that's like, yeah, I'll put a couple $100 into it every month for the next 10 years, and then maybe I'll start making some money and I'll just take the depreciation, right? So she did. She turned it around, and I told her, go to your agent and say, I'm not paying you 6%. I'm going to pay 4%. 1 goes to you, and 3 goes to the agent that finds it because you sold me a bill of goods, and now I've got to resell it. So yes, I'll give it back to you, but I'm only going to let you charge me 1%. So she did. It took her 6 months, and she lost like 20 grand or something like that.
Compared to what it could have been.
Oh yeah, it could have been. I mean, she could have been upside down for the next 10 years. You know, just pouring money into it every month, right? Which you don't want to do.
We have a question here.
Yeah.
Alright, my name is Cora.
Hi, Carl.
What are your thoughts on like tiny home developments, like using a mobile home park?
Right. So tiny homes are, I love to watch the YouTube videos on the tiny homes and stuff like that because they're so cool, right? I think there's an opportunity there. The challenge is that tiny homes are tiny, right? And they cost what, 50 grand? Right? You can buy a double wide,
Double what?
double wide, right? So, you know, 1,500 square feet, right? Air conditioning, you know, granite, nice cabinets, you know, a jacuzzi bath for 50 grand.
Yeah.
Right? So you can buy a tiny home for 50 grand and have to sleep in that little loft up there, right? And then put that on a mobile home park, if you will, or a tiny home park. Or you can buy a 1,500 square foot home for the same amount of money and put that down. Now, it's really hard to move a mobile home. It costs like 7 grand to move it. And with a tiny home, you can, you know, get an F-250 or something like that and tow it somewhere else. So you do have a little more flexibility with the tiny homes. I just think they're a little bit challenging right now in terms of the return on your investment.
And let's be clear, with mobile homes, so a lot of people have misconceptions about what a mobile home looks like. On the inside of a mobile home is nicer than a lot of homes that you see. Like you said, jacuzzi tubs, granite countertops, 2 or 3 bedrooms at a time. I mean, yeah, it's a really nice.
They do a really nice job with some of those. And understand, mobile homes are built in a factory, right? So they've got amazing quality control. They have to build them much stronger because they're going to actually put these on the back of a trailer and actually take them to wherever the facility is. So they'll use 2x6s as opposed to 2x4s. They're really, really well built.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think mobile homes is deeded as motor vehicles, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
So you don't pay property taxes.
Right.
And you also have a registration as well.
Right. So as opposed to paying, you know, $4,000 a year of property taxes, you pay $150.
Right.
Right. It's a huge savings.
So how many of you guys ready to get a mobile
I
home?
was gonna say.
I see Andre back there.
They're out there. You just got to look for them.
Now, somebody had a question. Yeah. Go ahead.
As a contract, I can build tiny homes cheaper than 50. Would
Right.
that be a good investment if you can find a market for it, or is there already a market for tiny homes?
So I'm by no means am I an expert on tiny homes, right? I just kind of see what I see, you know, on YouTube, right? From a mobile home standpoint, it's very difficult to find land now to buy to build a new mobile home park. First of all, it's going to cost you 7 to 8 grand for every pad. Right? So it means pouring the concrete, the gravel, getting water there, septic system, electricity, all that other stuff. And that's without the home, right? So you're gonna have to build that plus all the infrastructure. The challenge is that most state and local governments don't like mobile home parks. And it's not because they're mobile home parks, it's because there's no tax revenue. Remember, it's a mobile home, so you pay $150 a month. Now, if you could figure out a way to have a mobile home owner pay $4,000 a month to the local government, they'll give you as many mobile home parks as you want, right? But, you know, at the end of the day, it's follow the money, right? So, I don't know. I mean, I'd be interested to, you know, if you want to talk about it or whatever it is, I'd be happy to help you out in any way I can. I just don't know that much.
I have a question as well. Since we're talking about the types of multi-units, because most of the time we talk about apartments,
Right.
but also multi-units, these properties can also be townhomes as well.
Can be what?
Can also be townhomes as well.
Yes.
Right? is there a difference which you advise against, or is there a difference between the townhome multi-properties versus the apartment multi-properties?
Right, so when we talk about a townhome for multifamily, these are usually 2-bedroom, maybe 3-bedroom, 2 levels, no basement, and they're part of an apartment community. They're just a townhome style, right? So they got stairs going up the stairs or whatever it is, and then you have the regular apartments, which are called flats, right? So the only challenge with townhomes is that as opposed to having one roof, most of those townhomes are staggered, right? So it's a little more expensive when you get a roof. It's a little more expensive to build because you've got 2 levels versus a flat. But then again, you can get an extra $200-300 a month out of it. At the end of the day, if the numbers work, the numbers work. And we're really, really big on the numbers because we've seen people fall in love with a place or look at 20 places and go, oh, this must be good, it's in Charles Village, right? And so I'm going to go ahead and buy it, and they didn't look at the numbers. So at the end of the day, you've got to look at the numbers.
Any other questions?
So I know you mentioned that sometimes you work with wholesalers for particular deals.
Right.
What are some of the things that you appreciate the wholesalers, or some things you've seen that you can appreciate wholesalers do on their own end, or some mistakes you've seen wholesalers do that you pretty much would not recommend other wholesalers do?
So, okay, good question. So, as a wholesaler, you do have to understand multifamily a little bit, right? He's going to talk about a class we teach and stuff like that. So I would encourage everybody that if you want to wholesale, you need to get some sort of basic foundational education, right? Because if you bring me a wholesale deal and I ask you what the NOI is and you don't know what that is, then I'm like, well, how do I even know it's a good deal, right? Or I ask you, that's great, like you have ARV for single family homes, right? And I ask you, well, what are the comparable rents? Right now, they're at $600 a month. What can I get in that area for the same one? If you don't know that, then you're basically not really bringing me a deal most of the time, right? If you found somebody that, think about it, right? So you go into a wholesale deal with a single family guy, and he says, by the way, my cousin owns 40 units down the street, and he wants to get out. Can you do something for him? And hopefully you can, right? And if you just bring me that, right, I may pay you a little bit less because you haven't done as much work, right? You're still going to get a good amount, right? On a 40 unit, you're going to make a big chunk of change. But I would prefer that you bring me and have a little bit of knowledge. I don't want a contract. I don't want you to deal with a contract. I don't want you to have a letter of intent. I just want you to have some basic information that I can decide in 10 minutes, is this something that is worth my time to pursue? So, and then, like you do with anybody else with single families, right? You ask them, it's like, what zip code do you like to be in? How much square footage? 3.2, 2.1. What are you looking for? That kind of thing. So just ask, and I'm more than happy to tell you. And if you find something and we can't use it, we'll partner with you on it as long as it's a good deal, and we may share it with some of our students. But it's not, we've had people bring us stuff. It's like, I wouldn't buy that, so I'm not giving it to them, right? It's got to be good enough for me to buy. Maybe it's too small, but it's got to be good enough for me to buy.
Another question.
Yeah, what's one thing that you know now that you wish you had known when you got your first mobile park?
It was so funny. So 2 things that you go ask any successful multifamily investor will tell you 2 things, right? Number 1, and I'm sorry to everybody in the room that has done single family, myself included, I never would have done single family first, right? Now the guys that have been doing it for 20, I know guys that own 80, 100 houses, but I didn't want to take 20 or 25 years to do that, right? I needed to get paid now, right? So number 1, they wouldn't have done single family first. If they do multifamily, sometimes it's great if you're doing single family, you're doing really well, go with single family, right? You're going to make less per unit on multifamily than you will on single family. So you have to decide what's right for you, right? And that's also, 5 years down the road, I look back and go, wow, something I could have accelerated a lot faster, but I'm also a hustler. I went after it really hard, right? If you're just going to buy like one house a year or one house every couple of years, stick with single family. You're never going to make it a multifamily. You got to hustle, right? And the other thing that you find from successful multifamily developer investors is they would have gone bigger faster, right? So maybe I wouldn't have started with a 4 unit. Maybe I would have started with a 20 unit, or I would have partnered with somebody. Partnering is really big, right? I would encourage you, if you're doing single family, get with Charles. Phenomenal program for single family, and he's able to mentor you and teach you and kind of guide you around the landmines, right? Because you can lose 20, 30, 40 grand on a single family. You can lose 100 grand, 150, 200 grand on a multifamily. So sometimes it's better to make a little bit less money on your first one, partner with somebody that knows what they're doing, get through that one, maybe do a second one, maybe not, but at least get through your first one with somebody that knows what they're doing. Still make money, but make a little bit less, and you will avoid those landmines, and then you're ready to do it the next time.
Like I always tell people that's coming into the business, that money is like education. You're gonna pay for education regardless. So
Right.
why not partner with someone who's gonna show you how to do it? So it's the same thing as paying for education.
So I will tell you, I'm sorry, go ahead. So I will tell you, when I was doing my single families, I lost money on a couple of flips, 20, 30 grand, right? I didn't have a mentor, I didn't know Charles, I didn't know anybody, right? So I could have paid Charles for whatever his mentorship is and saved myself 20 and 30 is 50, could have saved myself 50 grand. I basically paid 50 grand for a seminar, right? So always encourage people to at least partner up with somebody who knows what you're doing, avoid those landmines, and then build from there.
So tell everybody who want to come to the free workshop next weekend, September the 14th, what can they expect to learn?
So we're going to have a short workshop. It'll be about 3.5 hours. You're going to learn some basic fundamentals, right? You're going to learn a little bit about the industry and brokers and how to deal with brokers. You're going to learn a little bit about underwriting. What does it look like when you actually start looking at numbers? You're going to learn a little bit about, I think I mentioned this already, but markets, how to find a good market, how to find a bad market. It should give you enough of a foundational picture that maybe as a wholesaler you might have enough, you might need a little bit more.
I was about to say that.
Right.
Would they walk away with being able to wholesale a deal to you?
I think if you do the freebie, you may not know everything, but you know enough to get me a deal, right? Or to get anybody that's a multi-family. You don't have to bring it to me, you can bring it to anybody, right? But I think for 3 hours, you'll have enough of a foundation to do something.
So that's going to be next Saturday, September the 14th at the Best Western Hotel. So keep that in mind. It's free, 100% free. So if you guys want to come, you don't have to RSVP. You can just show up next week. How many of you guys going to show up next week? Next weekend?
I'll be there.
Yeah. So next Saturday, 9 o'clock, Best Western Hotel, 5625 O'Donnell Street. Best Western, 5625 O'Donnell Street. How can people...
I have a question.
When you say making for your first deal, are you talking about the construction side or the back end with the actual management of the property?
I'm talking about the whole cycle. Go through the whole cycle. You know, market identification, finding the deal, and if you partner with somebody that's done it before, they need to be including you in everything, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're giving up part of the money to learn, right?
So what's the best way people can reach you?
You can reach me 2 ways. I'll give you my cell number. Remember the rule, right? You can call me, just call me every day. So it's 240-472-7555. And then my email is james@passivecashflowforlife.com.
James@passivecashflowforlife.com.
FOR, thank you. Yeah.
Cell number one more time, I'm sorry.
It's james@passivecashflowforlife.
Cell number, I'm sorry.
The cell, I'm sorry. 240-472-7555.
Okay, everybody, let's give James a great big hand. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Carl.
Appreciate you having me.
Now, this is the part of the evening where it's all about you. Come up here, give your elevator pitch. If you're looking for something, if you have a service you want to share, a deal you want to talk about, this is your opportunity. Corey, take it down.
First of all, Charles is way too nice about this particular segment because I will call people out. So, and I see you guys know that. So I need you guys to line up so we can come give you a 30-second elevator pitch about your business, about any deals that you have happening. And like I said, if I don't see anyone lined up, I'm gonna start calling some names. I'm see what happens. I need more. I need more. I need more. Yes, right here. Right over there. I need more. I need more. It's not enough people here. Let me see who else is out here. All right. First up, Dante.
Dante. Thank you. Everything's well. When you mean the pitch. Okay. How's everybody doing?
My name is Dante Hill. Born and raised Baltimore City. I just actually got into the real estate business about 4 months ago. I came across a tremendous deal. My mentor has been in the business for about 25 years. He actually sold 30 properties to Kevin Plank's brother, the owner of Under Armour, to Scott Plank over in Hollis Market. And I had been renting townhouses from this guy and never knew that he was the guy who did this deal in 2016. And I happened to be coming from the gym, and he said to me, hey, I'm getting ready to retire. Do you want to help get involved with my company? And I was like, of course I would. So I did some research, and he has me in the game. And so right now we're looking at rehabbing parts of the downtown Baltimore area, Highlands Market, Franklin Square, Union Square. So we're working with the Living Work program to get people grant funding to create home ownerships for homeowners. So I'm talking to people about the importance of home ownership, financial freedom, how easy it is to buy a home, and what you need, from your credit score to counseling, the whole nine. So I'm looking to really do some things to help revitalize Baltimore City because that's what's needed.
All right. Your phone number?
Oh, 443-240-8631. Right now we have about 7 properties that are on Booth Street that are ready to go. Some of them are ranging from $80,000 all the way up to $110,000. We actually just sold one last week for $130,000. So like I said, I want to sell about 30 properties of my own every single year, which I'm able to do to help fix up Baltimore City. So that's my goal, that's my mission, that's my plan. I'm a hustler, like I said, and hey, I'm in it to win it. So my number again is 443-240-8631. Thank you.
And well, quick question. So with the program that you're working with, are you working with agents as well? Because if you're talking about
I am.
First-time home buyers and things like that, you work with real estate agents as well?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
all my real estate agents, I need you to get with him because I know I definitely will.
Absolutely.
Make sure you have his information.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you.
Next. My guys here, my twins. Hello. It's also.
All right. Good evening, everybody. All right. My name is Wilbur Reed, and of course, my name is Will Shaw Reed, and currently, as far as what we're working on, right now we're mainly focused on wholesaling and getting our first deal. Just to get a little background knowledge as far as how we ended up in this particular group. This gentleman here, Corey, we met him a few months ago, back in April, at a real estate expo in downtown Baltimore. And at that time, we were really trying to, find somebody that can kind of show us the ropes and kind of work with us to help us, with strategies on finding leads and, finding deals. And the last few months, he's done a great job of showing us specific strategies on how to go about finding those leads. Now, right now, I'm working on a couple of leads right now. I do have a couple of phone calls I need to make as we speak currently, as far as speaking with personal representatives and people who are execs of the estate for properties that they want to sell. So I do have a couple of things that I'm working on, but no deals yet. But my phone number, just in case you want to contact, is 443-453-4460. My phone number is 443-453-4682. Currently, I've had deals on the table that you seem to be accepting. I'm still working, I'm still sending out letters, so we'll keep it moving.
And let me tell you about these guys. We have our weekly phone calls, and they're 2 hard-working guys. So I appreciate you guys, and we're gonna make that happen. No problem. Next, this guy right here, my man George. He cheats, but it's okay. Inside joke. He knows. Go ahead, George.
Hey everybody, how you doing today? My name is George. He says 30 seconds. I'll keep it really brief for you. I work for a company. We are a cash company. We're looking for wholesales all the time, and really just good deals. So any good deals you have in DMV anywhere, let us know. Now, a good way that I can help people who are new, maybe you just need a break from something. We actually do what's called a house hunter business. Now, with this, we allow you to just find vacant homes, take a picture of it, send it to us. Boom, you get paid if we buy it. if we buy it. And again, that's a good way for people who are just beginning the wholesaling game, just beginning the real estate game, to get paid while they're covering other expenses right there. So if you want to call me, you can call me at 443-228-6973. Again, you can call or text for deals there. And again, from there, just let us know. We can stay up with our system, and we can reach the moon.
Any questions? Number again?
Number again, 443-228-6973. Again, for all wholesalers and all house hunters, we are your number one stop for that.
Question. Are you working in any areas in particular or concentrating on any areas? Or?
I have some zip codes. You guys want some zip codes that we're looking for deals in real quick? Okay, give me 1 second. And again, now we're buying all over DMV, but these areas in particular are hot areas. Probably get a deal done faster there. All right, so zip codes that we love to buy homes in are going to be 21214, 21207, 21206, 21113, 21239, 21221, and 21228. We buy deals everywhere. These places right here though, hot deals. Get them to us.
Thank you, George. Did everyone get those zip codes though? Everyone have them? Okay.
And don't leave without getting my information, okay? If y'all are wholesaling, if you're new to the game, don't leave without contacting with me. Just a little hug or a handshake, okay?
This is my guy George. Make sure you get with him. Next. Hello, sir.
How you doing? My name is Brandon Dukes. I'm a wholesaler. I've been wholesaling prices.
Brandon, talk a little harder.
My name is Brandon Dukes. I'm a wholesaler. I've been wholesaling price since April, so I'm still relatively, new and still learning. I'm from the Baltimore area. We're on West Baltimore, on Emerson Avenue, Emerson Village area. I do have a property under contract on Bloomingdale Road. The owner, he's a lawyer, is looking to get out of the real estate business. It's tenant occupied. The occupants are on Social Security. They've been there since 2008. Definitely a good long-term rental. Cash flow on day one. My number is 443-844-6927. If you want to contact me for more information on deals and the zip code you're looking at.
Well, let's talk about the deal really quickly. Tell me the numbers. What's the ask, the ARV? You said it's tenant occupied. How much are they paying in rent and any repairs that's needed?
The asking price for it is $50K. The ARV around that area is not as high. It's mostly market and cash flow. The average rent area is around like a little 1,100, around 1,120. They've been paying right now. They're paying $900 and in cash flow around $250.
Okay.
So, like I said, if you want more information, my number is 443-844-6927.
Thank you, sir. So we have any buy and hold investors out there? See my man Brandon. Next. Mark.
Hey, I'm Mark. I'm from Los Angeles. I'm new to this area. I'm an investor mainly in other parts of the country, but I did pick up a property out here, and I'm here sort of to scout out and figure out what I'm going to do. I'm here mainly to meet contractors, subs, even a realtor who knows sort of the investor market. The property is in Waverly, 21218. Praised last year ARV of 235. Let's see, probably needs 70K renovation. Anyway, either looking for building out the network of contractors or finding a local who wants to take it over and I'll let it go as is. Either for cash or I'll take on a partner in some creative manner or another. Phone number 310-710-0712.
All right, so we have, really quickly, we have, you said in Waverly, right?
Yeah.
You're looking for contractors, so I know at least one over here. Any other general contractors, raise your hand, please. Okay, so we have a general contractor. We have a few agents, including myself, but we have a few agents as well that you can talk to. So
Very good. Thank you.
please talk to my man Mark.
Thanks, Paul.
Next. EK, how's everything?
Good. Hi everyone, my name is AK. I'm relatively new in the real estate market. I just graduated college 2 years ago. And you know how like when you graduate college, tell you, oh, just go get a job, go get 9 to 5 and you're fine. But then shortly after that, like bills come and everything, you figure, well, 9 to 5 is not like that, that's not the holy grail. So I'm definitely looking forward to building wealth. And so looking forward to entering the real estate market, specifically wholesaling. Ready to put in the work, ready to put in like look for deals and all that. So I'm definitely here to like network and like just like look for deals and go from there.
All right, so you said you're a wholesaler, correct?
That's correct.
Do you have any areas that you're concentrating on?
Just mainly Baltimore area, Baltimore, Caneville, 21228 area, Paxville area as well.
Okay, so if there's anyone that's looking in the 21228 or the Pikesville area, and AK is you got to talk to him. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? My girl Sherry.
Okay. So am I speaking loud enough? Can you all hear me?
No.
Great. Okay, so all the wholesalers in the house, raise your hands. I want to see who you are. Good. What? 4? That's it? All right. So 5. Okay. So call me Share. I'm going to give you my number. I look for houses or properties in Baltimore County, all the way around the Beltway, not a problem. Doesn't matter their shape, mold, water damage, whatever. I've done it all, and I'm not scared of it. And I have the funding. I can go to closing. You bring me a deal, we will go to closing. Okay? What? You say, whoop, whoop. Absolutely. Number 410.
Go ahead. I got you. Go ahead.
800-8270. And he's got it. And I got a deal working with you right now.
Yeah, we're that's
okay.
right. So, where you going? Sherry, where you going? Come on.
You gotta ask me questions.
Come back. I'm just, I have comments.
You have comment? Okay.
So quickly. Well, first of all, my first comment, I was never told to call her Share, so I have some feelings about that. We'll talk about that later.
It's a new
but
thing.
It's a new thing? But you need
I was
time.
gonna share you.
It's okay. So last week I had a buyer that dropped out of a deal. It was their last day before their inspection contingency expired. I called Sherry the very same day. She says, I'm there, we looked at it, but maybe the next day, and had it under contract. This was last week, so we're going to closing next Friday. So just to show that she is the real deal, and I just wanted to make sure people knew it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Thank you.
Next. Hello. Hi. And Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Okay, I want to make sure.
Hi guys, I'm Chelsea. That's my partner, Corey. So, real estate background, we do like buy and hold investment properties, single and multifamily. Looking to start getting into commercial, but I'm a CPA and I have another partner. I have a business, Stuart Abrams, with my partner who's a lawyer. So we actually focus on investors and business owners with business entity setup, tax strategy, and over business strategy on making sure that you have the most efficient setup. And you know, your accountant and your lawyer are your best friends. So, my number is 410-716-4445. It's 410-716-4445, and it's Chelsea with a Y.
Well, just to be clear, well, first of all, Chelsea with the Y, who's working with Corey with no E. Had to make sure that's the right way to spell it for those of you who hasn't have an E in your name. It's okay. Now, so what?
I do have an E in my name.
Well, but your name is not Corey. That's the difference.
People confuse it sometimes.
It's okay. It's okay. But you concentrate on investors and help them setting up their business and also helping
And
with taxes.
maintaining.
And maintaining their taxes and things as well, correct?
Yes. So small business investors. So that, because I like being an investor myself, that's just, I'm in a place where I'm like working in my passion. So that is what I'm passionate about. So that's why the focus is really with investors and business owners on having the setup and the tax strategy and whatever other strategic advice that you need I also have my MBA, so just understanding the whole business arena. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So what I need everyone to do, I don't care what you're doing, I need you to get with Chelsea before you leave because everyone needs their businesses set up right and everyone needs to make sure their taxes are correct in this business. So thank you, Chelsea. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Ah, my God. Talk to him.
Okay, so when I start, I want you guys to participate with me, okay? Can you guys say integrity over loyalty? Integrity over loyalty. One more time. And say it with passion.
More energy.
Integrity over loyalty. I'm a general contractor. My company name is Glover Investments and Construction. I say integrity over loyalty because sometimes people don't understand that loyalty can make you do dumb things. But integrity will always keep you on the straight and narrow and make sure that your jobs, your life, and your priorities stay in order. I always make sure that my jobs go the way that they're supposed to. I always make sure that I'm going to be transparent with my clients, and I never ever, if it's my fault, take responsibility. I don't pass it on to anybody because I was always taught that it's my fault. I learned from a long time ago that whatever happens in my life or in my company, it's my fault. Even if you came in and broke something, it's my fault. I shouldn't let you in. So, if you guys want my information, I'm a general contractor. I'm a licensed and trained electrician. So I literally can build you a house, but I know your electrical so it will never fail. My number is 443-562-5001. I am helpful. I love to be a service to people. So I have no problem letting you know different information and giving you all types of things of code, buildings, zoning. I know it. My specialties are additions, ground up construction, and renovations.
We have, what with them?
Bryant Glover.
Phone number again.
443-562-5001. Now, I don't always answer the phone because sometimes my hands are on tools, but I don't go to the hospital. And
That was a shot.
but a text message will always get answered. So always text me. If I do not answer, always text me and I will give you a call back. My email is Glover, the letter I, the word N, the letter C @gmail.com. Glover, Glover, the letter I, the word N, A-N-D, the letter C @gmail.com.
All right. Thank you. Well, so let me give my endorsement really quickly. I met this guy, and based off our conversation and him coming highly recommended, I'm like, I have to have him on my team. So he's on my team. He comes highly recommended. Not to mention, again, for wholesalers as well, other agents, he's also looking for properties as well, so he can rehab them. But he didn't say that, but I'm gonna say it for him.
I do. Thank you guys.
No problem. Next.
I have a hidden gem in the room.
Okay.
Somebody.
Oh, well, just
Come
come
on.
on. We already know you do
Come on.
It's okay.
There we go.
It's okay. We already know.
Angel.
I'm not gonna let you do it.
Hi everybody, good evening. My name is Angel Bradley. I own Santa Martina Interior Design Company. So if anyone is ever interested in any staging, all around design services, please give me a call. My phone number is 443-992-3176, and I can also be reached at sunnymartina@gmail.com.
Phone number again?
So phone number again is 443-992-3176, and my email address is sunnymartina@gmail.com. Thank you. I also pass on my card.
And also Angel is the same one that's been taking care of you all night, and she'll take care of your staging the same way. So, next. Come on, Charles.
Okay, Charles Blair, Chucky Buy Lucky Houses. We're looking for deals in Maryland, DC, Virginia, Houston, Ohio, and Jacksonville, Florida. So if you guys have opportunities, let us know. We're looking for everything from wholesale, rehab, buy and hold, owner structured financing is our specialty. So guys who have opportunities, we're definitely interested. Cash buyers, and we're also looking for house hunters. George is part of my company, so if you guys want to get paid for finding deals for us, we'll pay you anywhere from $500 to $3,000 for good deals that we buy. Get with George. We have an app that we use to locate deals, so get with George to be a part of our team.
All right, so I need everyone to pull out your phones right now. While I have your attention, I need you to pull out your phones right now. Go to Facebook. Go to the groups, and I want you to look up Real Meals and Deals and join the group right now.
Real Meals and Deals.
And after that, if you have Instagram, also go to Agent Corey Banks, Agent CORYBANKS 007 on Instagram. And of course, my name is Corey Banks, Realtor 007. I am your investor-friendly agent. I am the person, the agent you want to go to for your investor needs. Between the different strategies, knowing how to run the comps for the investors, and just knowing how to market the deals that you have. I'm the guy that you want to talk to. My phone number is 443-380-0182. Again, that's 443-380-0182.
And last but not least, if you're interested in the Real Deal Meetup Cruise, you can go to the website realdealmeetupcruise.com, or you can call my wife, who's the travel agent, Tammy, at 443-804-3261. That's 443-804-3261.
And when I'm at work, call my personal assistant, Charles Blair, 443.
Wait a minute. Hold up. You guys are laughing. I've heard Charles. Hello, Tammy's office. All right, so did you guys get some good information?
Come on, you get some good information tonight.
Did you guys get some good information?
So that means we're going to see you this Saturday, next Saturday, right?
Yeah. By show of hands, how many people are coming out next Saturday? At the Best Western on Downing Street.
Now, we're going to also see you next month as well, right?
And you're going to tell a friend to tell a friend also, right?
And last but not least, at this month's Real Deal Meetup event, I'm going to show you how to set up your business to really monetize your business in real estate investing. So that's going to be the fourth Saturday this month at the Real Deal Meetup. So but definitely we look forward to seeing you guys again.
And let me not forget and send my many, many thank yous to my girl April over here with WPP Network. Give her a hand. We're doing a live streaming, and also go check out WPBnetwork.com, or Media Network, right? Always the media. So WPBmedianetwork.com, and check out the other shows that they have as well, and support the station.
And one more person, let's give a big hand to Ms. D, helping with registrations today.
Hey, Ms. D. Ms. D.
And last but not least, let's say goodbye to James Ray.
Thank you, sir. Give a big applause. Round of applause. Thank you guys for coming out. Good night.